Andy Burnham said he was all about bringing hope back to the UK. Well, in his first interview with Laura Kuenssberg, he has shown that he is playing from the exact same playbook as Starmer. He's going after welfare again. It's probably going to be the disability benefit bill that he's going to hammer, even though the biggest part of the welfare bill goes on pensions, which is all right if you're over, I mean, what's the retirement age now, 80. You're going to be fine, triple lock and everything. People on disability benefits, like PIP, are going to have a real hard time. It was hard enough to get disability living allowance before it was phased out. Especially if, like me, you were on disability for mental health reasons. It was made worse when PIP came in, and I applied for DLA and got shot down. I was also shot down on the appeal, despite the fact there was a disabled person on the appeal panel. However, when PIP came in, which was harder for everyone who had a disability, but even harder for people with mental health problems, I breezed through and got it. Andy Burnham looks like he's going to go after disability benefits again. That means making it harder to claim them. How hard does it have to be? As I've said before, if you have a mental health problem, it's not as easy to handle. If you're in a wheelchair, adjustments can be made. If you've got a gammy arm or a gammy leg, or you're blind, you're deaf, all these things can have adjustments made. But it's very difficult to make an adjustment, although I'm not saying adjustments can't be made for people with mental health problems. But the problem is, someone with a mental health problem, even just depression, it's more difficult to come up with a strategy to cope with it. Because, like telling a person who's broken their leg to just run it off, you can't do that. You can tell them, wait till your leg heals, do some exercises to get the muscle mass up again, and then you're going to be fine. You might get a bit of arthritis later on, but still fine. With a mental health condition, especially if it's chronic, your brain is your enemy. You cannot just pull your socks up, suck it up, buttercup. You can't do that shit. So if you're going to make it harder, even harder, for people with mental health problems to get the benefits they need, because we have needs too, needs that we might not have if we did not have our mental health problem. If we lose that benefit, how is that going to help the economy? It's not. Because for instance, if my PIP goes, then so does all my extra spending. And all my extra spending is straight into the UK economy. I have got very little in the way of savings. So exactly how is that going to help the economy? By cutting my PIP. I'm not saying my PIP will be cut, I'm just using myself as an example. And PIP allows some people, those who can work, to work because they can use that money to buy the stuff they need to make the adjustments to help them work. And then if they lose their PIP because they've been turned down, because it's so hard, you're basically just a nose on a bed, and that's the only way you can get PIP, then all those people who are able to work, but only if they've got PIP, will lose their jobs. That's fewer people. Less money going back into the economy because they won't have the money to put back into the economy. The people you should be giving money to, appropriate amounts, enough to give them a decent level or a more, slightly more than a basic level of life, quality of life. You should be giving it to the people with sod all money, the low paid, the people who can't work because of disability, those who are in work disabled but need extra money anyway because they're doing a job which is probably still quite low paid, but they can do it if they've got the PIP. Taking the money away from us is not going to make the British economy any more active. But this shows you how blinkered Andy Burnham is. It also shows you that Andy Burnham is not the saviour that some people seem to think he is, because he's using the same blunt, economically illiterate tools to try and bring growth, make people happier. You're going to make people more miserable. Those people on PIP who will lose it, that have jobs because they're physically disabled and can do the job, they will lose the income if the threshold is made higher. And it's already hard under PIP, even for physical disabilities. For mental disabilities, it's even higher. But if those people who are in work lose their work because they lose PIP, because they don't meet the new threshold, then that's going to affect their mental health too. And that will put more strain on the mental health service. There are things that could be done, that might be able to be done to put more people with mental health problems back to work. But we've got a lot harder job to get a job. Because one, we're fighting our own biology. Our brain is fighting us all the time. And then we've got people's prejudices against people with mental health problems. The taboo, oh, they'll take off so much time, when that isn't true. With the right help at the right time, people wouldn't get as bad as my mental health has got. So I might still have been able to work. I might have been able to do some work, but my mental health has gotten so worse because when I tried to get back into work after I had my second breakdown, I tried to get a job and I couldn't, because there weren't any employers who were willing to take on someone who had taken 6 months off to try and get his head sorted. It was also hard enough to try and get treatment in the first place. So the mental health service is crap, and you try and take money from it. You try and take the benefits away from those people who might have been made better if the mental health service had been able to do its job, because it would have had money. And there are some people with mental health problems who will never be cured, because some are permanent. Some can be helped, but not all mental health problems. Not everyone with depression is low functioning, as I have become over time. I used to be a high functioning person. I used to go out to work. But when my mental health got to a really bad place, I had to take time off, and then I couldn't get a job. It's easier to get another job if you're already in a job, which is stupid. So Andy Burnham's going after the people who can least afford to be attacked again. It's now 16 years that people on disability benefits have been attacked. Where's the fucking change? Anyway, tell me what you think in the comment section below. I'd really like to hear what you say. If you want to abuse me, fine, do so, but you ain't gonna have your comment shown, because I monitor everything and only put up the stuff that won't offend other people. But I will be reading them, so go ahead. If you liked or were interested or found it helpful, please click the like button. If you think there's other people out there who might be interested, then please feel free to share this video among your social media feeds. And if you want more videos like this, please click the subscribe button, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you know when the next video has been dropped. And I hope to see you again soon.